Wow.
I'm here.
Hola.
Hi, Ola. How are you?
You know, that's a loaded question, but you know what? I'm doing well. And you know what, Rebecca?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Tennille. I hope I said that right. Um, let's go ahead and do some gratitude and some affirmations so we can get into things that get on our nerves.
Okay. Well, you look lovely, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I took a nap today and my hair is just doing business.
It is. It's standing on business, actually.
Yeah. Hey, Parker Place, 007.
007.
007. I'm gonna pull out of our deck. Hey, Lens, welcome in, Lens.
Hi, Lindsay.
All right, so Rebecca, I am shuffling our affirmation deck. Tell me when to stop.
Okay. Stop.
Okay, and tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Today's affirmation is happiness is a choice, and today I choose to be over the fucking top happy. Oh,
No
hold on.
way.
I like how it like blends into the background because of the
Yes,
card color.
I mean, I
I
love it.
I promise that's what it said. I promise. I also like I'm doing a damn good job.
I mean, you always are.
That one's a good one. Um and so, affirmations even more and more in a terrible place, they help us get to a better place. If you're like saying affirmations and you're like, I don't believe these,
Yeah.
keep saying them. You're helping your brain chemistry actually change.
Hmm.
This isn't, some a spiritual mumbo jumbo. This is psychologically, neurologically tested information.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, we're going to jump into a very interesting topic that I hope I just didn't delete a tab that I had open.
Oh, well, you can look at your history. You did fine.
Undo. No, okay. So I came across this GIF the other day, or I guess I don't even know if it's a GIF, a meme. I'm 30 something years old. I'm late 30, so I don't know what all that nonsense is. But anyway, it says the human eye can only see between 430 and 77 THZ. Our ears can only detect sound between 20 Hz and 20 kHz.
Okay.
These ranges make up a fraction of the total sound and light frequency range. This means there's a lot going on around us that we cannot see or hear.
Okay. Yes.
I found that absolutely intriguing.
Because there's a lot of things that we can't see or hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and I looked up, like, we read things all the time. Does that mean they're true?
Right.
So I went ahead and did my whole research here, and starting with the hold on one second, what humans can see. So we see in wavelengths of visible light.
Hmm.
Um, while some individuals may perceive colors slightly outside this range, the typical human vision is limited to this band between approximately 380 to 750 nanometers.
Wow.
Okay. And so when we talk about this, and the reason why we bring this up is humans only believe in what they can see and hear, and I stand by that 99% of the time.
Hmm.
But what we have to keep in mind is we have not built the technology to truly understand what is around us and what is in space,
Right.
because we can only see this much. Well, we can only see this much compared to this much that can be truly seen.
Hmm.
And the same thing with things that we hear.
Hmm.
So I read that, and that's completely true when it comes to hearing as well. We can only hear so much. That's why, like, dogs can hear way more than us. Certain things hurt their ears because they are so sensitive.
Hmm.
Um, and we know there are certain creatures that use sound, sonar, to hear where they're going because they don't have great vision like bats.
Right.
And so, as humans, I really want us to think about um, when we educate ourselves and we read things, number one, we need to find multiple sources for that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I read this, I was like, oh, that's a really cool, those are really cool facts. But then I continued to research
Mm-hmm.
because are they facts? And they are, right?
Exactly.
But it's what you do with that information. So for me, the fact that we can only see so much when it comes to visible light and those types of things lets me know scientifically there are a lot of things that we do not know, we cannot see, and it's going to take time for us to come up with that type of um, technology to be able to see and hear things
Mm-hmm.
as humans that we can't see and hear now. And I think that is really, really cool.
I do too. And I think, it's like kind of when you have like a premonition or you get that chill down your spine when, you walk into a room or someone says something that reminds you of something and then you get a chill, or like even, feeling like you are not the only person in the room. Like those are all, your senses, like even though we don't see it and hear it, those are the senses that are telling us that there's something that we can't explain that is scientific that, that we can't see or hear. And I find it very fascinating because talking about the spiritual and talking about, being in places where it's unexplainable.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had that happen to me many times, like even as a kid. I remember, and I think I've told you the story where I was dead asleep. I was asleep. I know I was dreaming. I had to have been. I don't remember what I was dreaming about or anything, but I know I was asleep. And I slept in the bottom floor. So my parents, the rest of my family were upstairs. And it was in the middle of the night. It was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I swear I heard someone say my name, Rebecca. Not Becky, not Vega, not nothing. I heard a woman, it was a female voice, say Rebecca. My eyes shot open. It's in pitch black. Like I didn't sleep with like night lights or anything. And I like the only other woman that was an adult woman in my house was my mother. And so I'm like yelling for my mom. I'm like, yeah, mom, nothing. And I go upstairs, everybody's asleep. Nobody's up. And that was the last time I slept down there. But it's like I know that I heard it. Like either it wasn't like I heard it in my dream. I heard, like I physically heard it. But like it was, I don't know what that was. But it's just interesting how, like, I think if I was awake, like I wouldn't be able to hear whatever that was. And it wasn't like a whisper either. It was like me saying Rebecca. That's how that whoever called my name, it was like Rebecca. It wasn't that. It was like Rebecca. And I woke up. I was like, yeah, because I thought my mom was calling me. So
I've had that happen. So, for those of you who don't know us or don't know our vibe, whatever, we are both, I'm a psychic, Rebecca is a spiritualist, and we both hold some very similar beliefs. We also have very different beliefs. But we also talk politics, we talk spirituality, we talk intersectional feminism, we talk a lot of stuff. And if you're in here, please tap the screen, please give us your likes. Please subscribe to us on YouTube, and also share us with people. Share us with your friends, share us with your enemies, share us with anybody you want. We love it. So, as a psychic, it's so important that people understand that we don't use that much of our brain.
yeah.
A lot of our brain is something like, it's like, what do they call it, Rebecca? It's just gray matter.
Yep.
Just gray matter.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my beliefs as a psychic is that we will eventually evolve to use more of our brain.
Mm-hmm.
And we will evolve to see more, hear more, understand more, and we'll go that route as we have, just as we develop the frontal lobe, all those things. It relates to becoming I believe, a higher spiritual self, to where you are able to acknowledge and be aware of things that we can't even comprehend now.
Right.
I don't think humans are anywhere near um where they could be or where
Mm-hmm.
they will be.
Mm-hmm.
Could is not the right word. It's
Mm-hmm.
where they will be.
Right.
But this is a really cool topic because it's, of course, it's scientific, it's spiritual, it's so many things, right? It's and I just love topics like that are just so open-ended, and they make you think, and they give you so many things to research and consider. And I think those are some of the best topics to have when you want to talk to other people, but you don't want to talk about politics or necessarily religion. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this type of topic is a cool topic because it's like, why do you think we can't, or blah 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 blah, or have you looked it up? And I just like that kind of conversation. Very philosophical, but yet science based.
Yeah, and because I think it gets people from all walks of life and different religions talking, as opposed to being segregated in how they approach religion and spirituality.
Yeah.
Because I think people from every walk of life, every religion has had a person from that religion has had a unexplainable moment of not hearing or hearing something or seeing something or feeling something that is not explained by
Yeah.
anything but science. You know,
100.
yeah, 100.
100. So, I want to talk about, I'm going to make a statement,
Oh God.
and then I'm going to back this statement up with why I believe it.
Okay, everyone in this live, gird your loins. Here we go.
I want everybody to just hold on to their britches,
Mm-hmm.
hold on to their maxi pads, hold on to your underoos. I believe America tries to punish you with children, and other countries try to incentivize you to have children.
Okay, can you explain?
Yes, and that's what I'm here to do
Mm-hmm.
today. So, in other countries, several countries are offering various incentives to encourage larger families, including direct cash payments, loan programs, and other forms of support. Some examples including one-time bonuses, monthly allowances, and loans specifically for parents. Example of incentives: direct payments, so that's population connection. Notes that some countries like Russia, oh God, sorry, take that out of there. We're not going to talk about them anymore. Oh. Finland, each baby born is worth 10,000 euros paid to the family over 10 years.
Wow.
Singapore offers a baby bonus with cash incentives. South Korea provides monthly allowances and is considering a proposal to pay families for having children.
Dang.
Okay. Um, Now, with America, okay,
Mm-hmm.
there's no national paid maternity leave.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, there's nothing like when the conservatives talk about like how families are supposed to work,
Mm-hmm.
and then both parents work, and then he's like, and then the grandparents can watch the kids. You don't need help with, child care.
Great.
And everybody kind of craps on childcare, and it's like that job is a very important job, and it's not, most places aren't just daycares. They're educating your children, they're getting your children to successfully communicate and work with other children, they're keeping your children alive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very important. So in America, there's not help with that. In other countries, there are preschools that are outright paid for starting at certain ages. Like they go and, they're there all day and they're taught. I know Japan has preschools like that to where these kids are getting great meals. They're getting great education starting at 2, 3 years old.
That's so good.
And then we wonder why our children are behind, and it's because not all children are afforded access to really good early childhood education. And that's really what that field is early childhood education.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think that, oh, well, my 2-year-old can say their ABCs. They can say their ABCs, but they have no clue what they're doing.
Yeah.
And parents are like, my kid knows their ABCs and they're 2 years old. No, they're singing a song to you.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be an early childhood educator and telling you, every stage, every month, every 0 to 5 is so crucial and different.
Yeah.
And America is not taught how important early childhood education is. We don't talk about that because the first 5 years of a human's life are when we gain and learn and grow the most.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pivotal that we have education that is successful and actually worth something at that period of time. But America won't invest in that. Okay? Other countries do. So women, okay, people who are able to give birth are being pushed to give birth because abortion is not legal nationwide.
Right.
So they're forcing you to give birth. We don't have a good healthcare system in America.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to pay an arm and a leg or potentially get terrible service, terrible care. And then once the baby's born, if if you don't meet certain requirements, then you may not get help, even though you don't make enough money, because they're going to base it on X, Y, and Z, which is like, because a lot of people don't realize in order for people to get help, they're going to base it on a lot of different things. And they're going to base it on income, but they're also going to base it on, what else are you getting help with?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, so I'm getting help with this, so it doesn't mean I don't need help with this, even though this is what I make and it covers barely this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really weird restrictions for getting help. And people are like, people are taking advantage of the government. And it's like, do you realize a lot of these really weird restrictions for people to get help for their children? Sorry, Rebecca, I'm losing my ever-loving mind over this. And then, so other countries are offering incentives with childbirth, with health care, with care for the child in general, with schooling, all these different things that they want to help take care of the child, not only when they're in the womb, but up through the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And America is saying, you gotta have the babies. And if you leave them in the street, we'll call the police.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's no help.
Did they say it with that accent too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can hear that. Yeah, I can hear it. Mm-hmm.
Well, and so where it leads down to is everybody's like, you hear conservatives and MAGAs and all this, and they're like, everybody's out there having abortions in the 3rd trimester. And it's like, listen, Leroy.
Leroy.
Yeah. Abortion, 93% of abortions occur during the 1st trimester. So that's 13 weeks or less.
Okay.
Overall, in 2023, the abortion rate was 15.9 abortions per 1,000 women aged 15 to 44.
Okay.
Despite some states enacting bans, the number of abortions in the U.S. increased by 11% in 2023 compared to 2020. So here's what I want to tell people. So even though Despite some states enacting bans, the number of abortions in the U.S. increased by 11%. And I believe that because I believe there are men out there who are like, can't do nothing about it now.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
I don't, and people are like, yeah, no, it's not all men. It's enough men for every woman to be worried.
Yep.
And always remember that. Always remember that. Don't make me mad today. Not, you guys know, when I say this, I'm not talking to Rebecca, I'm talking to the men in the world. Don't make me mad today. I want to touch another piece of something really important. The reason why a lot of people don't like abortion is because of religion.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I've ever met somebody um who was anti-mother so much as a Christian. And when I say anti-mother, I mean anti-abortion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't call it pro-life because pro-life would mean pro-life of taking care of everyone, like worrying and see what we can do for everybody.
Yeah. Facts.
So, here's what I want to talk about. In America, we have separation of church and state. And I know conservatives forgot about that. I know they did. I know Christian nationalists forgot. But we have multiple religions, multiple spiritualities, and everybody is different. And I want you to know you don't have to have an abortion, and you don't have to be married. I can't say the word or TikTok, but you don't have to be rainbow married.
Rainbow.
Nobody's gonna make you do it.
That's
It's
right.
just an option for others.
Yes.
Okay. So here's what I want to talk about. This is an overview of some religions and what they think of abortion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Religious views on abortion are diverse and vary greatly between and within different religions. While some religions strongly condemn abortion as a violation of life from conceptions, others permit it under specific circumstances or even support a woman's right to choose, with varying interpretations of when a fetus becomes a person.
Mm-hmm.
So, Catholicism. Oh, happens again.
The
Catholic. What'd you say?
It came up quick.
Yep. The Catholic Church strongly opposes abortion, viewing it as a violation of the sanctity of life from conception.
Wow.
Protestantism. Wow. While some Protestant denominations share the Catholic view, others, especially mainline denominations, have more nuanced positions, often supporting abortion rights with some restrictions or exceptions. Islam. Islam scholars hold varying views, with some permitting abortion before ensoulment at 4 months of gestation and even after if the mother's life is at risk. So I want you guys to know I am, this is from Google. This is not my opinion. This is, Judaism. Jewish law has complex views, often prioritizing the mother's life over that of the fetus, especially in cases of danger. Some Jewish leaders permit abortion for various reasons beyond the mother's life, while others are more restrictive. Okay? Buddhism. Traditional Buddhism opposes abortion, viewing it as the destruction of a life that begins at conception.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Hmm.
Hinduism. Hinduism generally opposes abortion, but may permit it to save the mother's life or in cases of fetal abnormalities. Okay. Unitarian Universalism generally supports abortion rights.
Wow.
So these are a few of the different thought processes.
Mm-hmm.
Me as a psychic, I firmly believe that it is something between you, your doctor, and what you feel in your heart. You immediately know what you need to do. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's between a baby birthing person and a medical professional and what they feel inside their heart and soul. Mm-hmm. So that's what I believe personally as a psychic, as a spiritualist, as a pagan, that's where it needs to sit. But you have to go by your own personal views.
Yeah.
And that's why we have to have freedom in America to do that. And that's why banning abortion and giving the right to ban abortion is so incredibly wrong, because America is a separation of church and state, and I've read to you several religions and they go back and forth.
I find it interesting. I can't remember which religion you had said. I think it was Judaism, where you said that it's allowed sometimes by Jewish priests to allow abortion. I think you had said.
Jewish leaders permit abortion for various reasons beyond the mother's life, while others are more restrictive. So I think it's just depending, because I think Judaism has different lanes, like much like there's the devout Catholics, and then there's a little more loose Catholicism. Like I think it kind of goes down that route, because you'll meet some like Christians that are like, I support abortion, but then you'll meet another Christian that does not. So I think it kind of goes down that line.
Yeah, and I just think it's interesting, the word permit,
Yes.
because it's my body. But it's fine. Listen, hey, I am on your side on this. I agree with you 100%. I think it's a decision by the person who is able to birth children, whether or not that person wants to have an abortion or not.
Yeah.
However, I don't know if I agree with the part of like you and your doctor, because there are a lot of doctors that, and this is my opinion of it, there are a lot of doctors that, I would say more than the minority, that push for not having an abortion. Yeah. Because a lot of things, capitalism, their own religion, their own biases, sexism, like all these different things that would push a person who can have children to have a child.
I think when I say that, I mean the medical community and the general consensus.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like if you're on the table with something and you don't know what to do, and you've spoken to a handful of doctors and they're like, hey, like we believe that the baby can make it through this, and you're like, oh, okay, let's do it. Like, because a lot of people don't realize, like, anything past the first trimester is typically a woman didn't want that baby to go.
Right.
Because most women realize pretty quickly they're pregnant, and then they're like, oh no. That's why 93% are done in the first trimester. The ones that happen later are typically because something's not right. And that's what I mean by the general consensus of the medical thought process in that community. Right. Does that make better sense?
100%. No, I was agreeing with you. I just wanted to speak on the medical part, right, just because I think there are a lot of amazing medical practitioners in America that are very pro-abortion, giving a person who can have children the right to choose. But there's a lot of doctors that are pushing for the other side because of the things that you brought up. You know, having more children in this country and creating a labor force and, you know, race relations and religion and biases and sexism and, you know, so I think that also needs to be talked about too, because I think that's very important because guys, when people go to the doctor for whatever reason, but especially if you are a person that can have children and you go to the doctor, always go in there advocating for yourself, I will say, because, and it's for anything in life, like, you know, you have to be your own cheerleader, but like, especially when it comes to your body, you have to advocate for yourself. It's very important. You think it's not a big deal because you know, as patients, we go in and we basically give our life into the hands of the person that's taking care of us because we're like, you will know what's best for me. A lot of times that is not true. Like, I'm not saying that the medical system is 100% wrong, but I am saying that you just have to be your own advocate, even when you're not sure what the right thing is to do. So,
Well, no, and that's truth. Like, if you feel like, and this isn't just in the sense of abortion or childbirth or anything, if you don't feel comfortable, if you don't feel comfortable with what a doctor's telling you, you have every right to go to another medical professional.
100%.
100, like, as someone who's a larger person, I have dealt with fat phobia my entire life, and I have moved doctors. I have talked to other different professionals. Like, I don't put up with anybody's crap because people bring their bias into their profession, and in the medical community, that should never happen.
Right. Yeah.
So, yes, 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Um, I constantly, and so this is something that I wanted to bring up because I think a lot of people are like, okay, well, if you believe in abortion, then what are your thought processes on that? Right? Like, when do you believe life begins if it's not at conception?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And mine is when sentience could possibly begin.
Mm-hmm.
But even that is, what do we really know?
Right.
So this is, I'm going to read a little bit about it. When does sentience begin in a fetus?
Mm-hmm. Daphne says hi, Auntie Sam, by the way.
Oh, hey.
Hi, Daphne.
The onset of sentience in a fetus is a complex and debated topic, with different views and scientific evidence pointing to a different gestational ages. While some studies suggest sentience might emerge as early as 18 to 25 weeks, others propose a more plausible range of 24 to 28 weeks, coinciding with the development of necessary neural networks and brain structures. So, sentience is when do we possibly become aware or have pain or here, this, like, early development reflexes, development of neural networks and pain perception, consciousness, and thorough development. Wow, I always have a hard time with that word. So those types of things, because having a heartbeat is not awareness. There are, to me, I've had cellulitis and it's had a heartbeat, and I aborted that thing immediately.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going with it tonight, girl. I'm like, all right. Oh.
I started thinking about old DT, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, goodness.
But those are, like, when it comes to me, and even then, I'm not a medical professional, and there are so many cases, and this is what I always say: until you're in a situation, you have no clue what you would do. Number one. Number two, you don't know what the right choice is until you're in that situation because you don't have all the facts.
Correct. Facts, standing on business.
Yep. And if you want to bring your religion into it, as we talked about earlier, different religions believe different things, and we're in America, and there's a separation of church and state. So if you're a part of Christian nationalism, I don't care, and I don't want it in my vagina.
Wow. Also same, though.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And just a dirty old jelly bean is what I mean.
Wow.
Okay, so I want to hop on in over here to can we, I'm going to say DT for dirty old Cheeto face.
Wow.
Like, why every time I get on to Ground News or any news source of any kind, is he always doing things that are just why? Number one, Trump waved off planned Israel strike on Iranian nuclear sites, New York Times reports. I'm grateful for that. Thank you for not doing that. That would be dumb.
Mm-hmm.
White House invites Rachel Morin's mother to press briefing to share daughter's story. Well, let's look at what that is. Patty, oh, okay, now it just blocked me out.
Okay.
Hold on. My aggravation on this website. I'm going to skip that one
Okay.
because it will not let me in. And I just love that. No evidence Trump has tried to return wrongly deported man. So if you haven't heard about this, a man was deported for absolutely no reason. He was deported to El Salvador, no reason at all, and like judges, the Supreme Court have said, "Hey, bring that man back. Bring him back because you did that illegally. You're not allowed to do that." And Trump was like, "Yeah, we're not going to do that."
And like,
And
kick rocks. That's what Trump said.
he said, "What?"
He was like, kick rocks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kick rocks. Because he said he's not going to do that.
Yep.
And so this brings up the topic of why are we not arresting Donald Trump?
Well, hey.
If I did not listen to a judge about what I was supposed to be doing, I would be in jail.
But again, you're not Donald Trump, so.
Yeah, I'm not an old nasty rapist that probably doesn't know how to wipe his own ass.
Wow.
When I tell you that I literally have to space out, I have to disassociate to be okay on a regular basis because of this man. I really do. I disassociate so much because if I don't, then I'm here in this reality, and I'm just like, what happened? I didn't sign up for this. When I was a kid, I was told, like, yeah, you can have a decent life. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And then all the boomers were like, we're going to go ahead and we're going to vote in Donald J. Trump. And then we all went ahead and said, oh, okay, you did that the first time. We're not going to do that again. And then it happened again. And now we're going to have to pay for everybody's mistakes. And then they're going to be gone because they will have aged out of life, if you get what I mean, and we'll still be paying for the mistakes that they've made. Well, they better age out of life before this next election. And nobody better drive them to the polls.
Girl, listen to me.
If I catch you driving an old white person to the polls, I have a lot of questions for you.
Listen to me. If you think that you need to be voting for this man again in 2028,
yeah,
he's running again somehow. I don't even know what to tell you anymore. What are we doing? Why?
Nobody can help us here.
No.
Nobody can help us. Well, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that I had a German chocolate cupcake today.
Nice.
And it was absolutely delightful. And that really helped me today. So even though dirty old DT and JD Vance with his beautiful eyeliner are messing up America, I had a German chocolate cupcake, and my fat ass, I loved it.
You need to calm down, ma'am.
Rebecca, fat's not a bad word. Skinny people made fat a bad word. That's not my fault.
That's not the word I'm talking about, ma'am.
My ass?
Oh, you said it twice. Stop.
You can say ass.
That is not a donkey you're talking about, okay?
I was on a boat. Let me tell you, I constantly talk about people and how they need to wash their buttholes. If you're not taking soap and applying it to your butt, you ain't washing it. You ain't clean.
I mean, I agree with you.
No.
But again, what I've realized this life, we've now been doing this now, what, like, has it been
2 weeks?
3 weeks? 2 or 3 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Every time we're on this live, somehow you've got to talk about orifices. Usually nether orifices.
I don't know if you know this, but we have orifices all over us.
We do, but you like to talk about the nether regions. And Rebecca, I don't know if that needs to start to be like a category in this live. I'm not sure, but it's usually toward the end of the live.
I'm going to say something to you, and I don't know if you know this or not. I'm going to say it to you. I want you to take it. I want you to put it inside you. Everybody poops.
Wow, we don't listen. I think this is all information that we all know. every person that is in this live knows that. You don't have to remind us.
Everybody poops, everybody poops, everybody. Hey, if you're outside of this live, come on in right now. Send us to your friends, your family, your enemies, your doctor, your proctologist. And I would like to let you know here that if you are a conservative, a MAGA, if you support Donald Trump, come on in.
Listen,
Learn something.
listen,
Rebecca's single.
I Jesus Christ. Listen, I don't know what we're doing here. We talk about buttholes, and now we're talking about this. I think we just need to just move along.
Hey, hold on. Let me get back to the mic. Hey, Republican men. See Rebecca right there? She thinks you can't win her over. But if you send her messages and you tell her how pretty she is, I bet she'd make a real nice housewife. I bet she would. And you know what? She loves it when you boss her around. She loves it. Tell her to make you a sandwich.
There's going to be some others.
That's how you're going to win her
There's
over.
going to be some unaliving. That's what's going to happen. A lot of unaliving. I'll tell you right now. I'm telling you right now. So much unaliving. Just piles and piles of unalives. That's what's going to be happening.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
You see Peyton said you already know how Sam is. Becca, come on.
I'm how did we get here? We're supposed to be giving facts and the news, not courting Republican.
Rebecca's love life. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm just trying to be a good friend.
This is not it. You're not doing a good job.
Well,
I'll tell you that right now.
Well, on that positive note.
Wow.
All right. Let's end on a positive note. You know what I really want to end talking about?
What?
I might eat another cupcake tonight.
That. I thought we were done with the cupcakes. I thought you had finished the cupcake.
Thank you, Alice, for the follow. I have another cupcake. It's Buckeye. If you don't know what a Buckeye is, it's peanut butter dipped in chocolate. Wow. And it's better than a Reese cup if it's made right. And so it's a peanut butter frosting on a chocolate cupcake with a Buckeye on top of it. And Peyton, I wouldn't give it to you if you were here. I'd let you smell it. Because that's for Auntie's little situation. Yeah, that's me tapping. That's me tapping my apron belly. Bring it on!
That is.
Everybody's like, "Do you need an apron?" I'm like, "I sure don't. I got my belly hanging on down."
My natural apron.
I got my natural apron. Sew me a pocket right on, baby.
What is happening? What's
okay.
that?
We will end this podcast, or we will end
not
this
a podcast.
live, or whatever.
We are live. This is not a podcast. Hey,
whatever.
Everyone in this live, it's not a podcast. This is a live. On
you
TikTok.
know what? Tomato, butthole, poop hole, same thing. Okay. Now you made me lose the positive thing. Okay. Now I remember. One of the funniest things ever is me and Rebecca were looking at a family member of mine's Facebook.
Stop. We don't need to.
And it is an elderly YT woman, and it is a national treasure. If you have an elderly YT woman on your Facebook, I want you to go through her pictures, picture by picture, and I really want you to investigate it, because they literally take pictures and they stand how they need to stand. Mm-hmm. They set everything up. They think things look good, and I'm proud of them for trying.
I have learned so much about the middle-aged YT women in this country.
Yeah.
More than I've learned my entire life in the last, the last hour?
Yeah.
It was...
We had a ball.
Mind-blowing.
We literally had a ball.
Yeah, I fell off the couch. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize. So, me and Rebecca, okay, so Rebecca grew up in a black Southern Korean household. I grew up in a white, lower middle class, conservative household. God help us.
Mhm.
Um, so Rebecca and I, we talk to each other about our lives and how we grew up and the differences and how like when Rebecca tells me about her childhood, I'm like, oh wow, that's nice. Like that's really great. Like, and then when I tell her about mine and it's a mixture of Malcolm in the Middle with Roseanne and then a little bit of Cops, she's like, there's no way that happened. And I'm like,
A little bit
I
of
probably got a
coffee.
picture somewhere.
Dude, I learned so much. I learned so much, and I see now what you're saying. The little bit of cops, like the little sprinkles of cops in there. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Like Roseanne, Malcolm in the Middle, and you got a little sprinkle of the
A
Cops.
little dash of the cops.
Yeah, just a little sprinkle of the Cops. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Or there is a family video. Yeah, Lindsay has been there for half of it, so she's like, "Oh God, be careful." I'm like, "Girl, I
Lindsay
ain't
just said,
saying nothing."
Lindsay said, or there's a family video.
Yeah, I have so many home videos. Lindsay, just keep them to yourself. I'm so grateful as a millennial that my time partying isn't on YouTube. Like YouTube didn't exist
Yeah.
because if YouTube, I would have been a meme every other weekend. I would have been a video. I would have been something. And Lindsay will tell you, like me and Lindsay grew up together. Like we partied together in the early 2000s, and I'm surprised that we lived. I'm surprised that we stayed in this realm.
I just think it's funny how you were saying YouTube and not like Instagram. That you just aged yourself, but it's okay. I still love you.
No, oh my God, no. Like I'm grateful, not YouTube. Like I was before Facebook. Like I will tell my age because the grateful attitude I have that my behavior is not recorded anywhere.
Oh my goodness.
That's how bad it is.
Wow.
I've hid in closets, I've fallen on floors. There's things I can't say. We're online. I mean, I'm literally one day I'm going to write a book, and that's going to be that book is either going to get me in jail or I'll be dead when it comes out. I'll be unalive. We're getting off here anyway. All right. Well, on that note, Rebecca, you got anything to add?
Lindsay just said, Rebecca, take it from me. Gladly. I'll send you my address once we get off of here.
Yeah. Well,
I want to say to the, looks like 4 people in here right now. Remember that even though you may feel as though you don't have anyone, there's someone in the world that loves you.
yeah.
And so you should love yourself.
I love
And I want you to, it's what, 9:30 p.m. East Coast time. Make sure that when you go to bed tomorrow and you go to bed tonight and wake up tomorrow, that you remember that and do something kind for someone tomorrow when you wake up, whether it's at work or whatever.
it. Well,
Or that's someone else.
my goal for everyone is to love themselves as much as I hate Donald Trump.
Wow.
And on that note, have a blessed evening. Have a great life, sending you positive energy. And Donald Trump probably has a yeast infection, allegedly. Everybody have a good night.
Ew.